everybody. I am waiting for Restored by Polish to join me for tonight's Polish Talk Live. So we'll sit around and wait for them for a minute. Hi. I hope you guys are having a good day and I hope you guys are ready to talk Polish tonight. Hi, Norma. I hope you guys can hear me. I feel like for some reason when the person hasn't joined in right away, you can't hear anything, which is really weird. But I haven't seen them come in yet. Here we go. So I just invited them in.
Hello.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're good.
Okay, let's give everybody a couple minutes to get in before we start.
Okay.
Hope you guys are having a good day.
We're doing good. Her dog is.
My dog is freaking out.
Her dog is going, wait, somebody's talking that I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna start barking. My son's supposed to have gotten a package. We can't find it, so he's all stressed out about it.
Oh no.
I know, he ordered something for his girlfriend and it didn't come in.
Oh, but it didn't say it was delivered?
It said it was delivered today at 4 and we've been home all day and I'm like, I don't know, it didn't come, so.
Oh no.
I know, I hope he finds it. He's all sad.
Yeah.
That happened to us and our neighbor had it, but we didn't find it for like 4 days.
Your neighbor had it for 4 days?
Yeah. My son went knocking on doors. It was my son too, and he went knocking on doors and he found it.
That's so weird.
He just sent an email, so hopefully somebody has it and sends it back.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That's a bummer. Hopefully it's not like an expensive one.
It was.
Oh.
It's their anniversary. So.
Oh no. He's stressed, I'm sure.
He is. Hopefully he gets it back. We'll see. So let's wait till it's a little bit around 7 and then we'll get started.
Sounds good. We're excited.
I worked from home today, and so I was the last minute trying to get ready because I was sitting around.
Yeah.
I'm looking like a crazy person.
Well, you look adorable, and I love your earrings.
Oh, thank you. This was actually it's made by nail polish, and Kay Dillian made it for me. Kelly.
Oh, how cool!
Aren't they so pretty?
They're really cool.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. She got new glasses, and we were talking like we can make nail polish that looks just like the glasses. Like that.
Actually, that's what I thought when I picked them out. I was like, I could totally do that.
That is so funny because I'll see like a car or something, and I'll be like, oh, I wish I had a nail polish that color. Someone says they like the shirt. Thank you. I'm all ready for my I'm obsessed with the skulls. Ready for Halloween. Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. Hi everybody. Hi Mercedes.
Hi guys.
Or the shoulders anyway. It's like a V-neck. The whole thing is printed. There's my sister. Hi. All right, there's Janet. We have a lot of people joining in. Maybe we'll give everybody an extra minute.
Yeah.
I feel like the hour for this goes by so fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're almost out of time.
I had so much fun just like chatting with everybody while you and Sheila were chatting. It was like, oh, I can chat with everybody. It was so fun.
Someone says they do that with car colors too. They're like, oh, I want to polish the color of this car. You should make a collection of car colors.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
For your polish.
Yeah.
There we go.
I was just thinking that, like, hey, you see something you like, send it my way, and we'll see if we can make a polish that matches it. You know?
That sounds exciting. Okay, so let's get started, I guess. So I did get a couple of questions from subscribers, but I just kind of want to get into your background a little bit because I feel like it's a really interesting thing you guys are doing. So I wanted to know first, how did you two meet? Because it feels like to me like you guys have a match made in heaven, right? Like you have a polish enthusiast and a polish maker. Like you all are soulmates, I feel like.
Actually, it's kind of a funny story because we haven't really known each other that long. It's been 3 years, maybe? Maybe 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? Yeah, you were just about having your 50th birthday, I think.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Give it away.
Thanks for putting her out there.
So yeah, no, it's only been about 3 years. And how we met was our dogs. So we would always walk our dogs at the same time in the neighborhood. And eventually, since, you know, you were like 6 feet behind each other walking your dog, we just started talking. And then it got to be like, well, let's meet at the same time. And then, you know, hey, I need to let you know I can't meet tomorrow. Well, send me your number and we'll figure it out. And then it just went from there. And then every day when you walk every day, because we walk like
every day.
But how far? Like usually about
2.5 miles.
2.5.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so we would talk all the time, and she would tell me about her business. And when she told me that she made nail polish, I was like, oh, well, and then it just went from there.
Right.
But she made nail polish that wasn't like what we consider indie polish. She made like,
I had a children's line that I started because I have a granddaughter and I wanted her to polish because she's all about the sparkle. So I just started making basic pearl with, you know, plain for little girls.
And little teeny tiny bottles.
Little teeny
so
tiny
cute.
bottles.
Oh, how cute.
With little teeny
so
tiny
cute.
brushes for little teeny tiny nails.
Yeah.
My niece would love that. My niece is all about the nails too. Every time I see her, she's like, what's on your nails? And then I show her and she's like, oh, pretty.
Oh,
and then she shows me hers so I can tell her, oh, so pretty.
How old is she?
She's 3.
Oh, how fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like the glamour girl.
Yeah.
And then my sister said, yeah, she so would love her own little polish bottles. And then my oldest niece is actually, she'll be 13 Monday, but she's like a total tomboy.
They're all different, right?
Total opposite, yeah. And then
you would relate to that.
Yes. I'm a tomboy.
Are you a tomboy?
Yeah.
It's funny because I've always been a girly girl. And my sister was a tomboy, but now she's more girly. But yeah, it's just weird how all your kids have just different personalities.
Absolutely, for sure.
So, next question. So talk a little bit about like your guys' YouTube and like your cause. I feel like it's really interesting because you kind of touch on like different health things, which I really liked. So go ahead.
Well, I think it was really when we got into it was a play on her. So her business, her regular business, is Restored Naturally, and she does like skincare products, and she does soaps and
makeup and things like that.
Yeah, she does these really cool. Like when you're here in person, she'll like actually match your complexion, so you get like perfect like what is it?
It's a mineral foundation. Yeah, it's a mineral foundation.
So
is it powder?
Yeah. And she'll like actually match your skin color like in natural lighting so that you get the right one. Yeah, it's really cool. But when she was telling me that, you know, we were talking about how you know, when you look good and you feel better, and so that's where I kind of came up with the idea of, well, if we're going to do this indie polish thing, because I really was encouraging to do that, you should have a different line that's called Restored by Polish, because we feel like polish restores us from your fingertips to the inside. You know, it kind of makes you feel better. And so that's how we came up with that. And then we started thinking, well, we could go a little farther with that, and we can actually make polish for causes, and then, you know, just help the community different, and especially since we both suffer from different chronic illnesses. So that's, and every day we walk, remember we met walking our dogs, and every day for probably like 18 months, we'd talk it out, we'd hash it out. How are we going to do this? How is this going to look? And what is the business going to look like? How are you going to have 2 separate parts of it? You know, what, you know, just every little detail. And every day we got a little closer to what we wanted to do.
Yeah, so, definitely. And my other business, the proceeds are given to help aged out foster youth. So it is also for
like for a cause. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple of your videos. And you guys were talking about your chronic illness, especially you, Krista, was talking about Crohn's disease. I had no idea Crohn's disease was an autoimmune disorder.
It is.
I knew it affected your stomach, but I wasn't aware of that aspect of it.
So I feel like nowadays, what isn't an autoimmune disorder? But it's just it attacks your digestive tract. It actually can hit anywhere from your mouth to your pooper, basically. And that's how it goes. I mean, that's just how it is. I have it in the most, I know. So forgive me, guys. I have dealt with this since I was 18 years old. I have no issues talking about that kind of stuff. So, you know,
I don't either.
Sometimes I don't have that filter, you know.
I'm an open book.
Exactly. That's exactly with me. So, but where mine is in the most common area, which is in the terminal small bowel. So it's a terminal ileum is what they call it. So, which is where most people have it, although like I said, you can get it just about anywhere. So, but yeah, your body attacks your intestines and it scars those over. So you end up with blockages is what happens.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
This is a safe space. Someone said this is a safe space. It is. And you know, I feel like for me with like my anxiety, I've been dealing with anxiety. Mercedes says she's a nurse. She's all good. um, but with my anxiety, I feel like you suffer for so long in silence. Like when you finally get it out and you talk about it, like you don't even care anymore, right?
It's just like, yeah, you get
like whatever. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, lottery of the mouth, right? Yeah, everything.
Yeah, and it just feels better to get it out. For me personally, anyway. Like I know when my anxiety first started, I wasn't really telling anybody or saying anything. And then when I finally like decided to open up to people, I was amazed, number one, how supportive people were, honestly. And I was amazed how many people had the same thing I had, and I had no idea. You know, because they were hiding it as well.
Yeah. So maybe I have a question for you then. Can we ask you a question?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one of our questions that we were going to ask you. Can you pinpoint like exactly when your anxiety started?
Yes. So I've always had anxiety, like to an extent. I was an anxious child. Like if we would go somewhere and I had never been there, I would get really nervous in the car and I'd be like, oh, I need to pee. I need the bathroom. Where are we? Do we have any gas? I was 5 years old. Like who thinks of that when they're 5 years old, right? And so I've always had that tendency of like nerves and anxiety. But my cousin passed away from AIDS 9 years ago. We were very close. So he was 34 when he died. I was 33. So we were a year apart. We grew up like brother and sister. My grandma took care of us when we were younger. So we would like sleep together, eat together, watch TV together.
Yeah. So he was like a brother.
Yes. We were very, very close. And so when he passed away, for me, it just really, like if you would have asked me, 2 years before he died, like would that be where I thought like life would have taken, like the turn life would have taken, I would have said no.
Right.
And it really got my mind going into like just how unpredictable life is, and I didn't like it. Right. I was like, what if my kids die? What if I die? What if my husband dies? You never know what's around the corner. And I feel like him passing really just took away this like comfort of my life that I had, like this illusion of control that I had over my life. And so
the definition of anxiety is just that. Anxiety is the fear of the unknown. I mean, that is what anxiety is. Yeah.
Yes. And also, like my therapist would tell me, if you're living in the future, you're anxious. Because you're trying to control things that really you have no control over.
And that's a really good way to look at it. I love that. So, because I know I suffer from anxiety as well. And, and I can pinpoint mine as well. And now all three of my boys were born premature because of my Crohn's. And I, whatever thought I had of like, having that perfect pregnancy and that perfect, childbirth, that didn't happen because, they were all born early. But with my first one, when he was born almost 2 months premature, he spent a month in the NICU in the hospital. And I remember when I left and they handed me this little baby and they said, now he's got a really high risk of SIDS because he was born so early. And from that, I never slept another day in my life after that. Like it was, I remember that was, I know, right, when I never was an anxious person before, but and my kids will all tell you that, and they all suffer in some degree with anxiety, and they all say it was because of me. And I know that because I was a very anxious mother because I became so hyper protective over them being born early. So
so now that you mentioned that, that's funny because my mom, I feel like I get a lot of my anxious behaviors from my mom as well. My mom had some past traumas in her life. I don't really, want to get into that, but she had some past traumas in her life, and she never went and like properly dealt with that kind of stuff. And so, we were little kids kind of trying to figure out. My sister doesn't remember a lot of it, honestly, because me and my sister are 4 years apart. I'm 4 years older. And but my mom would like just faint. Like we would be somewhere, my mom would just faint, like out of nowhere. And it would scare us. We'd be like crying and what's wrong. And she lost a lot of weight. She had times in her life where like she couldn't eat. And looking back, like I've had similar, I don't faint, but I've had similar things.
Right.
Like I've lost 30 pounds like that from my anxiety because I'm just not hungry. You know, your stomach is just churning.
Yep.
And
I've been there too. I know what that's like. Yeah. Yes. I've been down like 97 pounds. Yeah. When I've been stressed out. Yeah. It's crazy.
And my mom was like extremely overprotective of us. You know, like if we would leave the house, it would be like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. Like she'd be like, don't park next van, don't.
Yeah,
it's like what?
But the bad part of that is that I feel horrible now because I see how I've affected them and how I've made them be anxious. And I don't know about you, but I can feel like I feel myself doing it. Like I can feel the words coming out of my mouth, and I know it's going to make my kids anxious, but I can't stop myself from that being that way. And it's hard. I mean, I'm trying to get better. They're all out of the house now, but I probably should have tried harder when they were little, you know.
And for me, I really have worked really, really hard in therapy to let a lot of those situations go. Right. There's a comment here that looks really good. Let me just read it. This is from Mercedes.
Because it's too far away from us, so we can't read what everybody's typing.
She says, mental health is real. I feel like now with social media, people are speaking up, and I think it's great because so many people don't feel, she says some anymore, but I feel alone. They don't feel alone anymore. Yeah. I agree with that completely. And I feel like, hey, Ebony, I feel like, you know, I finally after, let me go back. So the night my cousin died, it was like 3 a.m. So we were all there, and it was really hard. I think if maybe I wouldn't have been there, maybe, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have affected me so intensely.
The relationship that you had, I suspect it would have no matter what.
Yeah, my therapist actually thinks I have a touch of PTSD, like in regards to that situation. That's one of the reasons I hate fall, actually. He passed away September 7th, and so that's very recent, like to this time of the year. But I can literally feel like the change of the season, like in my bones, and it takes me to that day.
That dread, right?
Yeah. And so the night he died, it was like 3 a.m. My mom stayed with my aunt at the hospital to help her make arrangements and things like that with the funeral home. And so my sister lived in the town because where I live is a really small town. We don't have those like trauma centers, hospitals, things like that. So he was an hour and a half in a hospital away from here. And that's where my sister lives. And so she was like, come stay at my house. You know, it's really late. And so when I got there, I was shaking. I mean, I was literally like this.
Oh.
And I get low blood sugar. So she was like, have you eaten? And I was like, no. And she's like, let me bring you some juice. So I'm literally holding a cup of juice like this. Trying to take a drink, and I'm just like, I can't drink, you know. And she was like, go lay down, and I'm like, I can't. And I literally sat on her couch and shook probably for hours. I don't even know. She sat up with me. I shook. I slept maybe for an hour the whole time. And then I was like, I just gotta go home, you know. And she's like, you're gonna be tired on the road. And I'm like, I feel like I could run to my house. Like, I feel like I could run to my house. Like, I just had so much, I don't know. I didn't even know how to explain it or anything. So here I have, I'm always bad with this. I'm always bad with this person's name, but Bewitix, I think that's how you say it. She has a similar situation to you. She was an anxious child, but it got way worse after the passing of her dad.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then I came home and I just kind of got into life. You know, I was busy. I was helping my cousin take care of her 6 kids while she was making funeral arrangements for my cousin. And I was okay, maybe for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. Oh, her name is Brianne. Okay, Brianne. And so then after those couple of weeks passed, I would go to bed and I would hear the hospital machines while I would sleep.
Yes.
And I would get up and I would clean my house at like 2-3 in the morning. My husband would be like, are you okay? And I would be like, yeah, I just can't sleep. And then I just started feeling weird. I couldn't even explain what the weirdness was.
I totally know what you're saying. I do. When one of my sons went through something really, really horrific and traumatic a few years ago, and people don't realize the physical toll that anxiety can do to your body. But I remember like being in bed and not being able to feel my body at all from like the waist down. Like it just, my body going numb. And it was just anxiety. I was so stressed that my body just was like, nope, you're not going to feel. I had no feeling in the bottom part of my body. And that's just the physical reaction of anxiety. So I totally get it.
And then one day I was actually painting my nails. I had just gotten into polish. I was painting my nails and I literally felt like I could not swallow. Oh. I was at the table doing my nails and I was just like, I can't swallow. And then my chest felt like something was sitting on me. And I got up and I was kind of pacing around my house. And my husband was like, are you okay? And I was like, I just feel like I can't breathe. Like I feel weird. And then I kind of started cleaning. For some reason, cleaning was like my thing.
That's mine.
Yeah, that's what she says. Yep.
Let me clean over here. Let me clean. I started cleaning it. I felt better. It went away. And then I was good again for a couple weeks. And then when I had a meeting at work, I drove a bunch of us to this meeting at work. And all of a sudden, like I was just like, oh my God, like everything felt like it was closing in. Right. And all these people were talking and I was like, everybody just needs to shut up so that I can get out of here. And I was like pacing around. I wasn't listening to anything anybody was saying. The meeting ended. And then somehow I drove us all back to my building. I don't even know how. And then my dad called and I picked up the phone and he's like, are you hyperventilating? And that done. I was like, I don't know, am I?
Yeah.
And then everything just started like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was shaky. My chest felt tight. So I called my husband and I was like, cause he works where I work. I was like, come and get me.
Yeah.
I got to go home.
Right.
And he was like, okay. So he came and then I was like, take me to the hospital. And he was like, do you think something is wrong with you? And I was like, no, I don't know, you know. Well,
am I having a heart attack?
I hyperventilated so bad that my hands cramped up and I could not open them.
Wow.
And my whole face went numb. My feet started cramping up like my toes.
Right.
And I couldn't release it.
Wow.
And so I went to the doctor and they gave me prescription for the Razepam anxiety medication.
Yep.
But I was so afraid to take it. I had left it on my kitchen counter.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we got home, I was like, I don't even care if I die from this medication.
Right.
Like, I cannot feel like this anymore. And I took one and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and my hands still felt tingly and my feet still felt, and it freaked me out.
And that's from hyperventilating because when I'm in pain, I hyperventilate, and then that's always when I'm in the hospital. I'll be like, I can't feel my hands or my feet, and they're like, it's because you're hyperventilating. You know, and that's just the response of lack of oxygen, basically.
Yeah. And so then the next day, I didn't want to go to work.
Yeah.
And my husband was like, are you going to lay in bed for the rest of your life? And I was like, it sounds appealing. Like, I'm not
right. Hey, don't tempt me.
Exactly. Is this an option? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, the anxiety disorder started. You know, I was afraid of the next attack. I was afraid to be away from my house and be like that and not be able to get myself home.
Right.
I was afraid to be in a meeting and have that happen. And so I finally went to a therapist. I reached out to a few, actually. I had an appointment scheduled with one. And then this other lady called me back. And when we talked on the phone, like, we just clicked.
Right.
There was just something there. So I canceled with the first lady and I met up with the second lady. And going numb was your breaking point. Oh, I'll take whatever. Yes. I was like, I don't care if I die right now. Like, I cannot feel like this anymore. Like, I'm done. Just give me all these pills.
Yeah.
And so when I went into the therapist, I'm not a crier usually. I'm not a very emotional person. Or I kind of keep that to myself. She asked me, what's been going on? The ugly cry for an hour. I walked out of there so puffy, so red. And I had a lot of just guilt about my cousin's death. We had been kind of fighting at the time he had passed just because he was so he was an addict. And so he would take his medication for his HIV and his AIDS, and then some days he would just stop. He would stop for months so that he could party.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would end up in the hospital almost dying, and then he would get on his medication again and he would be okay. And
in the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to watch someone that you love and you care about not care about themselves.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most helpless feeling on earth.
Right.
Because there's nothing you can do, you know. And so I brought it up to him, and, you know, he was kind of like, I'm grown, I do what I want, and that's that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so It actually took me a few weeks to even go see him in the hospital, and I felt kind of bad about that. And I just had a lot of guilt around the situation. And then, like I was telling you, like I felt like the safety of my life had been pulled away, you know, like this, I don't know.
Right.
But my therapy, I was going once a week, probably for a year, and it was like nonstop. Every time I would come out, I'd be a puffy mess. I'd show up back at work, and I'd be like, nobody look at me, nobody talk to me. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
And then we touched on other points of my life as well. I was a single mom when I was 19.
Right.
I raised my son by myself till I was 25.
Right.
I didn't get married till I was 25. And like just the judgments I felt about that. So I had actually graduated second in my class in high school.
Wow.
And I was supposed to go to like design school for fashion, and like just everything stopped,
Right.
And I felt, judgment, like my family was judging me, my friends were judging me. I looked like a little kid walking around pregnant. People look at you like in disgust.
Right.
It was a lot. And just a lot of issues throughout the years. I had some health issues, before my cousin had passed, my own health issues. And I just kept all this bottled up. And I think it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right. Right. But now you feel like the therapy did help though, right?
It did. And then I had a relapse last year.
Right. I remember that. I remember you talking about that you kind of had that setback. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had been anxiety free for the most part. I mean, I still had some things that I haven't flown in years. I haven't been on an airplane in probably 15 years.
Okay.
So I hadn't flown just because, and then my anxiety hit and I just never got on a plane.
Right.
So there's still some things that do trigger me. I don't drive very far by myself. I'm working on that now.
Right. It's so hard. Yeah.
It is.
And for people that don't experience it, it's hard to even try and explain what it is that you're feeling, and but I like what everybody was saying too. It's like, it's so nice that now we have social media that we can reach out to each other and we can support each other. And so I think it is going to make a huge difference. And we do need to lift that stigma, because the thing that drives me the most crazy is the fact that, like, if you had diabetes, you would take your diabetes medication and people wouldn't think twice about it. So why do we think so poorly when people have something wrong in their mind? It's the same thing. It's the same thing as having a physical, and so we need to stop that judgment on, just because it's not something that is like well, it is physical. I mean, in my mind, it does seem it's a physical thing. Chemically,
it's a mental thing. Yeah, well, it's like a mental thing, but you actually feel physical sensations, Like if in the full-blown attack, like I literally feel like I am dying, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Like I am going to die.
Yeah, I totally get it. And if you've ever looked at the list of symptoms for anxiety, I mean, it's like pages long. It can affect every single system in your body, in multiple ways. So,
but what's crazy too is like, I kind of have a little bit of a health anxiety. So like if I get fixated on something, like the other day I had a little tiny welt on my arm, and I noticed it and I was like, oh, I'm having an allergic reaction. And so then I was like, okay, ignore it. And then I cut it out of the corner of my eye again, and I was like, this isn't right. Something's not right. So then I started itching everywhere. My whole body itched, but I hadn't itched before.
Are you like my husband? My husband goes to the doctor and he's like, I've had this bump on the back of my neck, and he swears he has cancer. He's got cancer right away. They're like, no, that's a zit.
Well, and then do you ever WebMD? Because I WebMD. So either you have a headache or you have a brain tumor.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, it could be one or the other.
No. Yeah. But I've actually started following this new person. So he does podcasts. His name is Drew. And this guy he has like a totally different approach. I don't know if you've heard of Claire Weeks, but she wrote a book way back in the early times. And she kind of says like, you have to just accept the anxiety. You don't physically fight it. And that goes against everything your brain is telling you, because your brain is literally telling you you're dying. So you're like trying to do anything you can to survive, right?
Yeah.
But she's just like, you sit there, you let all the sensations come, and it's going to end like that. So I've really been practicing that, and I feel like that is so helpful.
You know, it's interesting because, and I didn't really read about this or anything, but that's something that I tell my kids. I always tell them to honor their feelings, whether they're having, because your feelings are true. What you're feeling, you know, don't let people tell you, well, you shouldn't feel like that. No, if you're feeling it, then, you know, you have to honor that. You have to honor what you're feeling, and, you know, and then deal with it. But, you know, don't sit there and try and tell yourself, well, you know, I'm wrong, or there's something wrong with me. It's like, just feel what you're feeling.
Or I should be happy all the time.
Or feel it, you know, and then go from there. So,
well, and I feel too like there's a lot of people that are very like, oh, you should be thankful. Oh, you should be this. Oh, you should be that.
Right.
And I agree with all that. I should be thankful. I should be a lot of things, but there's just, and I am those things, but there's just some days that freaking suck. Like, and it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But I will want to touch on something that you guys were talking about, how in one of your videos you said when you feel like you look good, you feel good. Oh, so here, this girl says she does, I forgot your name again, I'm so sorry. But she says she does EFT tapping, and it helps her when she has bad anxiety. Have you guys heard of
that before? I have heard of that before, yes.
I have too. I've never tried it, but I have heard of it.
Yeah.
That's good that it does help you.
My sister-in-law actually does that. She's the one that told me about that. Yeah, and it works for her really well. So
yeah, and I think you have to find your thing, right? Like different things work for different people. It's not one fits all. And then
I can just go shopping, and usually that stops everything.
Girl, you are not even kidding me. Oh, we're trading husbands, right? Me and Jacqueline are trading husbands.
I know, right? You should have seen her husband before we started this video. He like got everything set up. He got lighting for it. Like he's all over it.
He's a wonderfully giving,
yes,
selfless
he really
person.
is.
I am blessed to be married to him for 31 years.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, congratulations! That's awesome.
That was going to be one of my questions for you. Is what does your husband think about you doing a YouTube channel?
So at first, I think my whole family thought I was a little crazy, except for my niece Kylie. I gotta give my niece Kylie props. Shout out to Kylie. So that's my older niece. So she actually showed me how to set up my YouTube channel. She showed me how to edit videos when she was like 10. And she was like, "Do it, Auntie Josie." That's what they call me, Auntie Josie. But everybody else was kind of like, "What are you gonna talk about? Like nail polish?" And I was like, "There's people that do this. Like, I'm not the only person that
crazy
has,
person
like, this situation."
Absolutely.
Yes, my sister. Tell her about the shout out. So my niece kind of actually is the one who really pushed me and encouraged me. She was like, "Do it, Auntie Josie. I'm gonna watch all your videos."
Oh, that's so cute.
And yeah, she showed me how to edit videos. Like, it's crazy how kids know more. Like, my little niece knows how to like freaking FaceTime you. She's 3. Like, they know more about everything than you do.
I know. My grandkids FaceTime me, and I'm like, "This is crazy."
I know. I saw this meme that said when we were 4, we were eating dirt, and kids are like,
right. Yeah,
so true.
True story.
So true.
Oh, that's so funny.
But yeah, he's very supportive.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys have seen my polish room tour, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know that was going to be my other question. Is like, what does he think of your polish collection? So
yeah. So he built me this whole room. So
that's
think
so nice. That's so awesome. I love that.
He thinks it's crazy, but he's supportive.
That's kind of how my husband is. I will say, like I'm one day I'm going to do a tour of my nail setup too, but like
and we're going to count her polishes.
No, we're not.
Don't do it.
But my husband was the one that like he bought me like I have this cool like actual real manicure desk, and like I mean he bought me all those things for me, and he's actually pretty supportive of doing the YouTube channel, except for like if I'm filming and it eats into me like not being able to make dinner, and then he's like, wait a second, you expect dinner to be on the table, so But other than that, he I think he's glad that I collect polish and not like, rubies and diamonds. I mean, it could be worse, right? I could have a much more expensive hobby. So
well, I like rubies and diamonds too. So my husband's in big trouble because I do both. Well, you know what's crazy is I'm like a shopping addict. I like just love shopping for clothes and jewelry,
right?
And shoes.
Yeah.
All of that. So my husband is like, "Girl, like you spend too much money." And I'm like, "I have a job."
So I'm laughing because if my husband had a female, this would be him. Like she is that, but she's the exact opposite. She's the one that doesn't spend money. She's the one that, you know, and so I think that's why we get along so well.
Yes,
like, you know,
you're the opposite.
Yeah, you're like yin and yang.
Yeah, she's the opposite of me.
One day we're gonna have to do.
Somebody's husband thought we owned a salon.
She hates shopping. She hates to go shopping. So I will I know, right? Okay, so we've literally been out shopping together, and people are like laughing at us as they're walking around.
Well,
because the conversations that.
Okay,
you know,
just an example. We'll go out and she'll like pick up this scarf and be like, and it'll be on her neck, and I'm like, how did you do that? Like,
but then she'll pick up something that looks like, you know, I don't know, that, let's say, Holly.
No, I like flannel.
Well, oh gosh,
she gets
flannel.
I like flannel, and she tells me
Yes.
no more flannel.
I love flannel too.
No more denim. Like, she'll pick up stuff. It's like, I mean, flannel is okay, but I've literally gone through her closet and thrown away probably at least 13 flannel shirts and at least, I don't know, 20 hoodies. Like, how many hoodies
oh my
does
God.
one person wear?
My mom and you would get along so good. So me and my sister call my mom the hoodie queen. My mom has a hoodie for every occasion.
You need 20 of them.
Yes, you do.
No, my mom has a wedding hoodie. She has like a funeral hoodie. She has her walking hoodie.
You guys need to meet.
You gotta meet my mom. So I don't know if you guys heard me, but someone here said her husband thought we owned a salon.
I've gotten that before too. When I first had my first little, I used a really cool, there's a woman in Texas that actually she handmade my first nail polish cabinet. And I love it. It's great. And when I first got it, I thought, I will never fill this up. Yeah. It's like, been far blown away now.
Exactly.
But when I first posted that, like, online, I had so many of my non-nail polish friends were like, are you going to start doing nails? Like, are you opening a shop? I'm like, no, I just like polish. So.
Well, so my husband first built me mine, and it was supposed to hold 500 polishes. He did like an estimation.
Right.
And I was like, I will never fill that.
Yeah, right?
Now I have a whole room. I think I filled it up in 2 years. Or maybe not
exactly.
even 1 year.
I know. My husband got me, it's not really a Helmer because it's a lot bigger than a Helmer, but it's like a 7-drawer, super deep cabinet for Christmas. And it's pretty much maxed out at this point.
No, my room is pretty much maxed out.
Hasn't even been in here yet, so.
I have a whole room and I'm like almost maxed out. So it's like, how does this happen?
Because
Ebony says her friend asks her how much do they charge for nails.
Well, I definitely have the nail polish library at my house. I mean, my friends will come and check out nail polish. And
so my mom does
whatever,
that.
So
my mom comes in and then she'll grab like 3 or 4 she likes, and then she'll do her nails with them, and then she'll bring those back, and then she'll take 3 or 4 more.
Right.
My mom says that coming to my house is better than going to Sally Beauty Supply.
Oh, that's cool. That kind of happens at my house too. All the ones that I'm making, my daughter-in-law will come and she's like, can I have this one and this one? And she'll take them.
Yes.
And I'm like, but you have to give them back because that's a sample and I have never made another one and I need it.
This is one of a kind, precious cargo.
Exactly.
I know. I tell her, you can have it, but you have to bring it back.
Right.
So I actually had a few questions for you about making polish.
Yes.
So how did you get into, you see it with your granddaughter. So at first, this was actually from Amy. Let me read you exactly Amy's question because I know I'll mess it up if I don't do that.
Which
Amy? So this is Murphy on Instagram.
Amy Murphy, okay. We got a few.
She said, how long did it, like when you decided you were going to make polish, how long did it take for you to get the first polish out? And was it successful? Like your first prototype?
That is a really good question because I would say the answer to that is it was a giant failure.
Epic fail.
Like a giant failure.
Oh man, why?
Well, because you kind of, I think that everybody that's a maker keeps their secrets and they don't share them. So there's no information on how to even like begin, like as far as quantities of components or anything like that. So you literally have to just try and try.
Like a big experiment.
Yeah.
And I think to a degree it's kind of like cooking because there's like this saturation point that like you just can't come back from when you, it's hard to explain, but it's just trial and error and finding those like ingredients that are amazing.
And then having a friend that's super picky too didn't help.
Well,
right?
So here's how I became what I am now. I was just a polish maker that was just kind of like, just I mean, people bought my polishes and they said they loved them because they didn't wear quickly. They could wear them. So I was making a decent pearl. Like my customers loved them.
Pearl was really the biggest one.
Just plain old polish, you know, with just one color. And then she's like, well, she started introducing me to indie polish, and I was like, I've never even heard of that. I don't even know what you're talking about. Right. So she like started showing me polishes, and she actually did my nails with a polish, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. So I started researching and figuring out what kind of steps I wanted to take to kind of achieve that. And then I would make polishes and give them to her and say, okay, tell me. And she'd be like, she's like, go back to the drawing board. So I think that I couldn't
like get this out of my face.
But I couldn't be where I am today if I didn't have her like critiquing me.
Well, that's awesome.
Because
and that's that you guys are so close that it doesn't affect the friendship, right?
Right.
Oh, not at all. I actually I'll make polishes and I'll be like, meet me in the street. I want to show it to you.
Yeah, we do. That happens all the time. Because we're like 3 houses away from each other, but that's awesome. It's far because we have acre lots, so it's like, it's not, so 3 houses, it's kind of a bit of a walk. And so we will like meet each other halfway in the, I'm sure our neighbors think we're crazy because sometimes we'll be under the street light, like looking, you know.
Right.
They probably think y'all are doing drug deals.
Oh, yeah. That's
oh my God.
But I think the other interesting thing is when she finally did roll out, which was last year about this time.
Yeah, I did.
But she rolled it out in just like the Christmas bazaars around here. So she did it locally here.
Oh, you do craft shows too? I do craft shows too.
Yeah. And she came out with some great sets. In fact, I wonder, will you bring Turkey Day ones out again?
Yeah, I'm gonna put them up. I have some for fall that are all just the browns and oranges, and
they're all so fun.
They sold so well, and people love them. So
that's awesome. Again. Especially like the neutral ones that are fun that people can wear to work. Like those sold really well. But she didn't believe me. She didn't believe me when I said these are gonna sell. She's like, you know. And then she came back and she's like, yep, that was our best selling product. You know, out of all.
I sold more nail polish than anything else, and I have like 40 products.
Yeah,
like I literally have 40 products, and I think nail polish killed it. And
well, I think people just like nail polish. It's fun.
And then I sent her there too, going, okay, when they buy like Crellies like this, like you need to explain to them, how to apply them, like make sure they're doing it in thin coats, and that I mean, I gave her all the directions, and I think that really helps.
It does, and now I have a little piece of paper that I just stick in the thing.
Okay, like the info.
Right, this is how you should wear it.
Manicure tips, because I didn't know how to do my own nails until she taught me.
Right.
Oh, girl, it took me years. So Brianne is starting a nail polish brand. That's awesome. I thought about starting my own nail polish brand, but I'm too scared. I'm a chicken.
Oh, don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. It's fun.
It is fun. I think my favorite thing to make is nail polish. I just want to not make anything else. I just want to make nail polish. So I think in that degree, I think I'm kind of like the collectors, because like when it's time to wear a new polish, I'm like, oh, I gotta go make one.
Yeah, that's what she does.
So I go upstairs and I make a new polish, and I'm like, oh, I like this.
See, that sounds amazing
to me. She changes her nail polish.
Right. That sounds amazing to me.
Yeah.
So speaking about learning how to do the manicures, how did you learn to do your nails, Krista?
Oh, so yeah, it was lots and lots of YouTubing is what I did. That's what I discovered.
She would send them to me and say, watch this YouTube video. And I'm like, no, just tell me how to do it.
I think the first one that I really studied was Christine from Simply Illogical. Like I remember sitting there with my notebook and like writing down all the products and everything. And, like went on Amazon, right?
I'm a crazy nail polish person, and I have never watched one of her videos. Can you believe that?
Are you kidding me? I loved her.
No.
I don't watch them as much now though, because she doesn't do as much polish. And I realized that I'm like, you know, I don't really watch her as much anymore. I liked it better when she was doing polish, but you know, that's.
So Sheila from Variety Varnish says she purchased some of your polishes and they're awesome. So anybody who hasn't purchased, Sheila says she wants them.
Yeah,
thank you.
And go follow them, you guys. They have a YouTube channel. I will link all this when I put the video on my YouTube. I'll put their YouTube channel. I'm gonna put their store, and then I'll link their video for their release for the Crohn's disease. And what was the other one?
Well, that's it. This is our big announcement.
These are releasing today.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight, and I'll put up the video on it so if you guys want more.
Where's the camera? There they are. I can't get them all at once.
Let's do one at a time. Let's do a sneaky peek.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is called Brave, and this is for neutropenia. The neutropenia network
I
is
love
going
that
to
color.
receive all of the funds for these. And
what's neutropenia? Sorry.
Neutropenia is what I have. I have a lack of white blood cells. So I'm basically like, I'm susceptible to infection when I'm untreated. I am treated right now, and there's a very, so we're rare. Where's rare? This one's rare. So we're very rare. So we have a polish named Rare. I don't know if that's focusing. And
it's like your favorite baby poop yellow.
I know, I was gonna say it looks very like unicorn poop with glitter. Like
exactly.
So
so how did you discover you had that? Like, what were the symptoms?
Well, I had that's called strong. Sorry. I just went to the regular doctor visit and they found that I had no white blood cells.
Ooh.
So
it was just like during a routine.
Yeah, it was like a Monday, and they called me on Tuesday and said, "Oh, your blood work is not good. We are sending you to the cancer center, basically." And so I had an appointment with a hematologist on Thursday because it was that severe. And he looked me in the eye and said, "It looks like you have hepatitis or lymphoma." And I was like, come again? And he goes, "But I don't think you have hepatitis." And I was like, okay, so where are we going with this? So long story short, I ended up having an infection that didn't heal, and it didn't act like an infection. It didn't get red or hot. And they did a bone marrow biopsy because they said, we need to look and see if you're actually producing white blood cells. So through all of that, I'm on a medication they give cancer patients after chemo. And yeah, and that brings my white blood cells up to normal. So I'm not susceptible to infection. So that's nice.
Interesting. Well, so that's actually, I was going to tell you. So when my cousin got diagnosed with AIDS, he ended up having a pneumonia. And when they took him into the hospital, they were like, "You have a form of pneumonia that only people that have received cancer treatments or people with HIV have. Do you have either of those things?" And he was like, "No." So they ran tests and they discovered, that he had AIDS. So it wasn't even HIV. He already was into the full-blown AIDS. So there's like cell counts that you have.
Yep. Yep. We know that well.
I get a blood test every 2 weeks. I have to go get stuck every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And,
oh my God, that's horrid. I hate giving blood.
Daily injection. So it's, mine's different from hers, but she's
You give yourself shots?
Yeah, every day.
Oh girl, you're tough. I couldn't do that. I like literally see a needle and I will almost faint. Like when I draw my blood. They're like, deep breaths.
The crazy thing about neutropenia, though, is some children are born with it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's really scary. And so there's a lot of kids that have it and they have to have daily injections and their parents have to keep them safe. And so that's why this is the cause that I want to raise money for, because I think that it's super rare, and the community of neutropenics, as we're called, is very tight. Because we all pretty much know each other because there's not
there's not that many people.
Right. And we have a conference every year, but it was canceled this year because of, everything. Life has been canceled.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I know, I'm over COVID. That's all I know. COVID can get it here already.
For sure.
But this one didn't get the love it deserves. This one's called 1 in a million.
Let's give it some more love.
Yeah.
So this one's called 1 in a million because if you have a type of neutropenia called cyclic neutropenia, you would literally are 1 in a million. So this is for my cyclic neutropenia.
And by the way, what's on her nails right now is one we're also testing. So
yeah, I just made it. I made it last night.
Everybody's feeling that poopy yellow. Everybody loves
poop. Okay, so what she didn't tell you was that all of these colors are based, and when you watch, I'm going to release the video tonight, but we used like the awareness poster for neutropenia, and these are all the colors that were in it. So when she made the yellow, she was like, "Oh, this is awful." I'm like, "Oh no." I'm like, "You have no idea the cult following for that color yellow, like that baby poop yellow." And then her daughter-in-law, her young cute little daughter-in-law, walked in and she's like, "Oh, I like this." I'm like, "See, I told you."
Baby poop yellow does have a cult following in polish.
Really
you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, it's really when I look at the poster, the inspiration pic, and what she did, I'm amazed like how well she matched the colors to it. Now I tweaked it a little bit. I would tell them like, okay, that one, put some more shimmer in there, or things like that. Just
we kind of added some shimmer at the end because they were too like pungent. I think. the colors were just too like bright, and then I stuck a shimmer in there, and it just kind of mellowed it out a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of made it more uniform. So,
the science experiment.
Yeah, yes, and that's pretty much how it goes every single day. It's an experiment.
And that's when we meet halfway on the street, and she's showing me swatch sticks.
And she's like, no.
And I've got my phone light out, and I'm looking, I'm going, nope, you need a little bit more of that. And she went back to our houses.
This process sounds awesome. I wish I knew about you guys.
There's another lady who walks dogs, and she said every time she hears us talking, we're always talking about milk.
That's all we talk about.
She's like, I hear you talking, and you're talking about Polish again.
But it's good.
So
hash things out as we're walking. I mean, it's good. You're thinking, and you're like, okay, what needs to happen here? And you're planning, what the next awareness.
Well, and we have to be really clear to everyone here. When she talks about the components in the polishes, she's using Polish lingo. Say. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? It's not called that when I buy it.
Yeah, the
you're like, what's a flaky iridescent shimmer?
Completely different things. So it was really trial and error in the beginning.
There are some things that you can that are similar, but some things are just not even close.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it's not called that. You need to come up with something.
I know. I'd be like, well, you need ultra chrome, UCC flakies.
Those actually are named. The UCC flakies are named UCC.
Right.
They're named UCC flakes. They're not flakies. So there's a difference right there. So
but there were some other things that weren't even close.
No, not at all. So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but just show it to me and I'll find it.
Yeah, and she's funny so she studies things, right? So I'll show her polishes, and she'll like literally be sitting there like, staring at going through. It's so funny to watch her do it. So, but yeah, she's been amazing, I think, with how well she's one thing I love about Jacqueline is she's a perfectionist. So she's going to make sure that everything is perfect, and I love that attention to detail with everything that she does with your books, with everything with her. She keeps very detailed recipes on everything, and that impresses me. I don't know if I could be quite that detail oriented,
organized.
Exactly. Yeah. No, she.
Well, I think when you're measuring things in grams, you don't really have a choice. You have to be detail oriented.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Polished Page says, it's astounding to me this polished community is so diverse in all ways, and we're all so strong. I agree with that so much.
Yes.
When I opened up about my anxiety, I got so many messages from ladies that deal with the same things.
Yes.
And we chat, and it's just nice. And then like now with you guys talking, I'm like, one thing that I feel like my anxiety kind of knocked me off a pedestal a little bit. I don't want to say I was like, snotty or anything in that way, but like I'm a very proud person. I'm a very proud person, and I'm very like independent, or I was. And I feel like anxiety took a lot of that away from me in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was my mom would come sleep at my house because I could not sleep alone.
Right.
And I was like, I'm a grown woman who had lived by myself, raised a son by myself, and like now I can't sleep alone. Like, what is this? And I feel like it really kicked me off of a pedestal a little bit and made me so much more compassionate towards other people, that has been one of the biggest blessings of my anxiety. And
I love that you said that, because I've always said that with my Crohn's disease. I'm a speech language pathologist by trade. And
my sister has her degree in that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. I have always felt like my Crohn's disease has made me a better therapist, because I do have that compassion. I do understand when you're struggling with something, so I definitely think that there's a reason why things, not always, but some things happen in your life, I think, for a reason, or at least you can shape things, to be, even though having Crohn's disease my whole life has been a pain and difficult, it definitely, I can turn it around and use it for something that brings good.
Yeah. And I feel like when I talk about my anxiety, like I feel like I'm doing something good. Like,
well, especially on your channel, because you don't know, realize how many people you've touched. Even doing our awareness polishes, like when I couldn't believe how many people reached out to me and said, I have suffered from this disease, or somebody I'm close to has suffered from this disease. Thank you so much for doing that. And I think that was a little bit of anxiety that I had before we even started this, was, is this even going to be taken well? Are people going to like this idea? And I kind of like, breathe that sigh of relief when I realized, okay, people do want to hear about this. They do want to do that. So, so yeah, I think talking about it, having your channel and reaching out and knowing that you might be that person that that says, makes that person sleep better tonight. And I mean, you can't even.
And I think another thing too, and I noticed it with you, Jacqueline, you mentioned it in the video, like about getting ready and putting on your makeup and getting dressed. That's huge for me. Like, that just makes me normal. Like, if I leave my house and look like crap to myself, I feel like crap to myself. And
okay, so guilty. There have been plenty of times I've been in the hospital and my husband would bring my makeup to me so I could put my makeup on while I'm in the hospital. So it's just part of my healing. I have to do it. So
it makes me feel like better.
Yeah.
It does. And it's funny because a lot of people have told me, looking at me, they would never picture that I have any sort of like mental illness, or mental issue. And I thought the same thing about you. Like, I feel like you ladies have positive attitudes. You're we're not sitting here just like, oh my gosh, in this state of, and not that it's bad. And there are days where I'm a total victim, I'm not gonna lie, but but you can't do that every day.
So what I say is, it's okay to have those days. It's okay to have your pity party. That's all right. And
she lets me do it for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and then you pick it up and you keep on going. You have to.
Go on, but you got to honor those feelings for sure. Right. You really do have to honor those, because otherwise, then you're just glazing over it, and then you end up, it festers, right? So you honor it for that time, and then you move on from it. That's kind of always been the outlook that I took.
Me too. It's like, have my little pity party, and usually I talk to my sister, and then okay, pity party over, like get back on it. We're in it to win it. But
But I think it brings up a point too, that you never know what somebody's going through. I mean,
that's just what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you see people, and you think, oh, they've got their life. I mean, there's a gal that we meet all the time when we're walking. For like the last 3 years, we run into her all the time, and we were telling her about our channel, and I mentioned, oh, I have Crohn's disease, and she like could not believe that I would have this illness. She's like, but you look. You look so good. And so that's kind of our joke, but you look good. And so what's our
I saw a meme that said that, but you look so good. And it says, I'm sick, I'm not ugly.
Yes.
That's our favorite. I'm sick, I'm not ugly. Yeah.
But and it's just like, for me, it's just reiterated, like, you don't know what people are suffering. Like, just be kind, right? Like, you don't know the kind of day people are having. You don't know what people are dealing with. Just be as nice as you can be.
Yep.
And like, people never forget how you make them feel, ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
my whole life, I have to be like that. You just have, and you have to give mercy to people all the time. Like, that is, well,
and a lot of times when people are mean and nasty, it doesn't even have anything to do with you. That's another thing I've learned in therapy. Like, how when I lash out, it's all about me. It doesn't even have to do anything with the person.
Nope.
With the situation.
It's noise. I call it noise. It's noise, right? So it's just the noise, and then what's really going on, right?
Yes.
It's the symptom of something.
So we had another announcement, our hashtag. I'll let you make it.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So so Joe and I, we were kind of doing our little messaging back and forth, but all you lovely ladies out there, and I have nothing against you, who love fall polishes, love fall colors, and you had to insist on having your hashtag fall Friday,
early,
fall summer,
fall Friday.
Well, Joe and I are starting our own hashtag starting now in fall, which is going to be hashtag Summer Sundays. So we are doing Summer Sundays all through fall and winter, so we can get those bright pinks and those bright reds on our nails, and we can be happy with our hashtag Summer Sunday. So join in with us if you want to do that. Putting our Summer Sundays up there.
Yep. So every Sunday we're going to be wearing a summer polish. We're going to be making snowballs with neon nails. Like,
there you go. That is exactly right. Yep. That is exactly what I'm doing.
So I'll be testing out my new summer collection on you this winter.
Exactly. There you go. See? That's perfect, actually. That's like double duty right there. So.
Right?
Yes, that's very exciting.
So I won't be able to post it.
No. It could be a sneak peek.
It could be sneak peek. That's right. So I can do that.
So we have 2 minutes. Oh, I tell you, this hour goes like that. You guys are gonna have to come back. I feel like I had so many questions I didn't even ask.
We didn't even hit. I think we hit one on my list.
Yeah. I just feel like when you talk about mental health, it can go so many ways, and physical health as well. Yeah. But I just think you guys have such a great cause going. I love it. Like, I just love like the polish with the purpose. I just love like putting something that you love and like helping other people with it. You know what I mean?
Because, and in a way it's healing for us.
Yes.
Right? That's what, I mean, it's sort of selfish in some ways, because by helping others, we feel better. And so,
right. And awareness is important, because I think that, like you said, it gives you a community of people that understand what you're going through, because they suffer from whatever you're suffering from.
So the bottom line is, you're not alone. No matter what you're going through, you are not alone. And that's what I would like to leave it, like, you know, just saying, you're not alone. So
there's always somebody that has something like what you're dealing with. And also, like, for me, my faith is really big. Like, you know, God is always with me. I'm never alone. And when I'm on, you know, a really bad anxiety day, like, I had driving anxiety for years. I would picture, like, God sitting right next to me in the passenger seat.
Absolutely. Like, or I would always feel like when I was 18 when I got sick, and alone in the hospital by myself. And I know the only thing I had to go on was my faith. So I started praying. And I remember, like, just knowing that somebody was holding my hand, even though there was nobody there. So you know, that's my little, maybe that's a little out there, but I know, I mean, my faith has gotten me through a lot of health struggles. So
me too.
Me
also. So we got, go ahead.
I was just going to say also, I can, my faith is.
We have 13 seconds, you guys. Thank you for coming on Polish Talk with Joe. Everybody go check out their polishes, support a good cause.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll have all their info linked in case you guys have never heard of them.